Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm going to tell you about this new dedicated uninterrupted power supply for your Starlink Mini. If you are looking for a way to have dedicated power so you don't have to run a big long cable back to a power bank on your vehicle, or you just want to be able to move your Starlink around really easily, again, without cables and cords and all these long things that come with it, this thing could solve that problem as well as giving you some other benefits, and it's a pretty budget price. So if you want to learn more about the Peakdo 96 watt hour power source for your Starlink Mini, stay tuned.
Where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, guys, so as I mentioned in the intro, today I'm talking about this Peakdo dedicated battery for your Starlink Mini. As you can see, I'm probably about 40 feet away from it right now. My Starlink is working great. I'm using my computer. I'm getting, videos edited. I'm getting work done. So again, having the capability to have a dedicated power source that makes it essentially wireless, so I can just run it over there and get it calibrated and facing the right direction to get the best signal without having to mess with a bunch of cords is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the Peakdo battery bank, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it features-wise. So first, I'm going to show you kind of unboxing it and plugging it into the unit. How does it connect? How easy is it to install? And does it fit with the stock stand that comes with it? All right, guys, so I'm going to show you this Peakdo unit. I'm going to show you everything that comes with it. As you can see here, here's what comes in the box. You get the battery itself, right? And this thing, I think, goes for about 160. I've seen it on sale for like 120, which to me seems like a no-brainer for, something this nice that's dedicated that allows you to just remove all of the long cables that you have and having to plug into another power bank and all that stuff. It's just a dedicated source of power. And then you can set your thing up, run it all day. And then what I will do is I will take this thing during the day, we're hitting trails and stuff, and I will plug it into the truck and just charge it up all day. And then when I get to camp that evening or afternoon, then I can hook it back up to it. It's just kind of a nice thing. I like having a dedicated battery for the Starlink just because it makes things way easier. So as you can see, there's a USB-C for charging on the front here. I did go ahead and charge mine up all the way before I came out. It did come maybe like 30%, so something to be aware of. If you just bought this thing, you may want to charge it right off the get-go. But then it comes with this little stubby plug. So I'm going to show you how to install this now and how to plug this in, and then we're going to test it. All right, guys, so now I'm going to show you how to install this. So here is my Starlink. Here is the Peakdo, right? As you can see, it does have this little plug right back there on the back. So one end of the stubby plug that is waterproof or water resistant goes right into there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to line this thing up, and you're going to notice there's kind of a divot in here, so an indentation at the bottom, which is what you're going to line up this little indentation with. So this thing's just going to slide right into here, and as I slide this in and kind of get the space that I need for this, I'm just going to plug this right in there, slide this in a little bit more, and as you just heard, it just clicked, right? And then I'm going to plug that in all the way. So now as you can see, that thing is just perfect size for this, and this thing just clicked in. Now to slide it out, if you want to remove it, you basically just pull up on this centerpiece here, and that loosens these teeth on the bottom. So when you pull up on that, that loosens it so this thing can slide out. So one thing to note once you have this thing on here is that it doesn't work with the OEM stand. So they both kind of compete for the same space. They click into the same slots here as your OEM stand, but it does have a number of quarter 20 things on the bottom of it. So you could use something like a tripod or something like that if you've got it sitting around. Or I'm sure there's also a lot of different kinds of stands that would accommodate a battery like this, but just to be aware. So I'm going to hold the power button for a few seconds. You're going to see it turn on there, and it's going to start to power our Starlink. So again, the nice thing is I don't have to plug this into another power bank. I don't need to, have a big long cord running out from my truck away 20 feet to where I'm going to set this thing up. I can set it up wherever I want. So I'm going to find a tripod here really quick that I've got, and I'm going to throw this thing on top of it, and then we're going to start testing it and using it. So just to kind of show you here, I am sitting over by my truck. Just wanted to hop online and just sort of check emails, but I'm under a bunch of trees, right? Obviously I'm in a campsite and it's wooded, and I want to be under the trees. I don't want to be out in an open field, but I do want to have internet. So I took this little tripod, I threw the Peakdo on the Starlink, brought it out here where it's got wide open skies, and it's pointed straight up, and it calibrated and attached just instantly. Because I'm probably about 30, 40 feet away from my truck right now. So again, I'm in the beautiful wooded area. I've got my Starlink out here in this big open spot next to the spot that I'm camping in. But then I can sit over there and I can work from my computer with the Starlink out here. And thanks to the Peakdo, I don't have to mess with cables or other battery packs or anything like that. And again, I just run it for as long as I need it. I believe they say it'll run up to 4 hours, but I'm going to tell you guys how long it lasts here. I charged it to 100% before I came. I've probably been using it for about half an hour so far, and it's at about 80%. So that seems about right. 4 hours seems pretty reasonable. It's at 83% right now. So again, I'm going to be doing some work and stuff, just kind of catching up on stuff, editing videos, doing that sort of thing, and using the Peakdo to power this thing while also getting awesome reception for the Starlink, which is great. I love this thing. All right, guys, so as you saw, it's super easy to install, right? Clicks right onto the unit with that quarter 20 on the bottom of it. Again, I just have a tripod that I brought with me that I can use, and I basically took it out there and it said Starlink needs to be calibrated. I used that to get it, situated just perfectly. It's screwed right into the bottom of the battery, and it's been out there for 4 hours now, and it's still at just under 50%. So this thing goes for quite a while, and I've had internet access the whole time. I've had 2 devices running, and it's just been awesome. But that's one of my favorite things about the Peakdo is the uninterrupted power source. So one of the cool things, and keep in mind, this thing is essentially a router, right? The Starlink Mini is a Wi-Fi router, basically, that connects to satellites, and that's how you get your internet. So you don't ever want to have an interruption in your power supply. If you bump it and it comes disconnected, all your internet shuts down, and it takes several minutes for it to kind of come back up, recalibrate, get going again, right? Once it shuts off, it basically starts from scratch again, and you can lose time or, lose connection and then lose everything you've been working on. So an uninterrupted power supply is really important, and that's, again, one of the nice benefits of this Peakdo is I just plan to leave it connected to the Starlink Mini all the time from now on. And then when you want to charge it, you can charge it right through the USB-C on the front of the Peakdo into the device. So you don't have to use their proprietary plug to, charge it that way. You can just plug it in via that, and then that battery will basically act as a buffer between the Starlink and your charging source so that there is no interruption in power. You can keep using it while you're charging. It will pass through charge this thing while you're operating the Starlink. So you can essentially run it for as long as you want with this power source on there by plugging it into other things to charge it up and keep it charged up. Now, one thing to note is they say on their website that it will charge up from 0% to 80% in just 45 minutes on a 100-watt power source. Now, that's a little tough with like portable power banks and things like that, but if you've got a wall socket or something like that, or an inverter and a way to charge that off of your vehicle, then you could charge this thing up super, super fast. My plan is just to basically plug it into my USB port while I'm driving around during the day and hitting trails, and then when I get to camp, I can unplug it, throw it on my tripod, and set up my Starlink, and I'm good to go. Another cool thing is that you can also use the USB-C port to charge things. So if you had a phone or something that was dying and you needed to charge it up in an emergency, you could plug in a USB-C to, whatever your phone is, and you could charge your phone off of this device too. So you could use it both ways, either to charge the battery itself and then use it to run the Starlink, or to charge other devices. So I'm going to walk you over to the Peakdo now, and I'm going to show you an example of the screen. I'm going to kind of show you all the data that you get from it because it's actually extremely helpful. One other thing to note, and I'll link to it in the description down below, is they do have an app for this. Now, it's a web-based app, so you have to find the link, which is a little tricky, and then you have to download it basically either from your browser to your home screen if you're on iOS, or you could just access it through like your browser, right? So again, I'm going to link to that down in the description below. I am out in the middle of nowhere right now. I'm running off of Starlink, and even with the Starlink, I'm still having trouble finding the app and getting it downloaded. So I would recommend doing that before you go on your trip. Definitely find that thing, bookmark it, save it on your browser or save it on your desktop so that you've got that. But regardless of seeing the app, the cool thing about it is you can use it to remotely monitor the thing. So again, I'm sitting 40 feet away versus having to go over there to check my battery. I could check it in the app, and you can also turn it on and off remotely, which is awesome. So if you wanted to be done for the night and you're in a secluded place like I am, and you just want to not have to walk over there and turn it off, you can just hit the button on your app and you can turn off the thing and it'll go to sleep for the night, and then tomorrow you can turn it back on. So really, really handy that it has that app. Not required by any means, but definitely a nice feature that they added to this awesome device. All right, guys, so just to kind of show you the screen here, I did want to show you all the features that you can see on here because this thing is really detailed and really nice. So here you've got your main battery percentage. So I'm at 41%. I've been running it for over 4 hours now, and it's still running strong with 41%. Now over here, it does show you this arrow going down. That means it's depleting the battery, it's using the battery, and it's saying right now it's going to run for about 2 to 2.5 hours of time still. So I like that they show you whether it's recharging or discharging, and then it also gives you the time. It works the same way when you're recharging it. It will show a little electric bolt next to this, and then it will tell you how long it's going to take to charge to full. So I love that information on there. Now over here on the right side, you've got USB-C. So again, if I had something plugged in here like my phone or something that I was charging, it would tell me how much power is being expended for that. Or then the DC, which is the plug that plugs into the Starlink, that little short one that I showed you. This is showing how much wattage it's pulling. So right now it's pulling a little over 13 watts to run the Starlink. And then it tells you your total amps and volts that are left in the battery. So guys, that'll do it for the Peakdo dedicated power source for your Starlink Mini. Of course, there will be a link in the description down below to this thing. So definitely check that out to make finding one as easy as possible. As you saw, this thing is awesome. I don't typically do reviews or anything, or I try to keep my personal feelings out of as much as possible and just sort of say, hey, here's the facts, here's the features, right? But I've been using this thing for a few days now, and it's awesome. Like, I mean, again, I used to have the big long cable that I had to move. I was kind of tethered to my vehicle. I was tanking through my power banks and things like that. This little thing will run this thing for 4, 5, 6 hours dedicated. Again, the uninterrupted power source function is awesome. The fact that it is dedicated and essentially wireless for the use of a Starlink, it makes this thing a really powerful tool to make Starlink even more usable and even more amazing when you're out in the wilderness. So hope that was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to click that subscribe button, click the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I do a couple videos every week, usually like a gear type video like this, and then something to do with like budget-minded or do-it-yourself modifications or general overlanding. So if you're into any of that stuff, I'd love to have you. Also below this video is a link to all my social channels, so wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. There's also a join button below this video, which is a passive way to support the channel, just get you early access to the videos and some other perks. But if you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, there's also a link to my Patreon page, which is awesome. We have a ton of awesome guys in there, and we chat in Discord 24/7. We have a once-a-month Zoom call where we all kind of hang out and drink a beer and chat. And then we're trying to get together once or twice a year just to hang out and camp. So if that sounds good, check out the Patreon. Also below this video is a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers, things like don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog, or I hate people so I camp. There's also all things overlanding stickers and patches, so if you're into any of that stuff, definitely check that out. And then last but not least, there is a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. Now, this group's totally free to join. It's different from the big groups because there's no bullying. So if you're looking for a place to really be supported and or support people in the hobby of overlanding, definitely check that out as well. But again, thanks so much for watching. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.